Alrighty, howdy there, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're going to be building. Super simple, super light little arrows, pure CSS. The whole goal is just to keep them as light as possible. You can just throw them anywhere you may need them. And so yeah, we'll get on into it. Here we are, good old original index page. Got your style linked in here. So once you got that set up, we'll get going. We're going to be using an A tag. Give her the class of arrow. Href will be bada boom. We'll get fancy here, give it a little title. This first arrow will be our previous arrow. We got that. Saver. Alright, styling. We're styling. Start it off, we're just going to make it look good. Let us be able to see everything. Margin, 100 pixels. Give it a background of a nice, prettyful, my favorite color, dark orchid. There she is. Alright. And now, jumping into the arrow here. So to start off with the size, instead of using width and height, we're trying to keep it as light as possible. We're going to use padding only because it accomplishes the same thing, just with the one line of code instead of two. Nothing crazy, but we're going to give this a temporary background color just so we can see what we're working with. So there we got it, 50 pixel red square, previous title. Now for the arrow, we're gonna use box shadow, and the box shadow we're gonna put it right on this corner right here, left side and the bottom side. So the box shadow vertical offset, it's gonna be 1 pixel, -1 pixel, 0 blur. We get the same amount of spread. Give it a nice plum color. And it's going to be inset, which is important, and I will tell you why here in a few. So there we are. We'll go ahead and transform the rotation. Transform, rotate. We're going to rotate it from this position here 45 degrees in order to get it pointing backwards. So we got that. And we got nothing happening. It needs a position. It needs to have a position in order for the rotation to work. So there it is. We'll go ahead and get rid of this now that you know what's going on. So we got it. We'll give it a little hover, some hover action here. We will just on hover increase the box shadow by 1 pixel. 0 2 pixel. We give it a nice light lavender. It's a pretty little color. So we got that happening. We gotta get real fancy here. Give it some transition. 0.24 seconds, 240 milliseconds, my magic number. Bam, look at that. Alright, so we're there. The only thing is, if you imagine trying to click this, you're right there next to it, but you're not actually on it. And some people may think that's alright, but that really bothers me. I'd like to have more area to click, so to do that with the least amount of code possible, after all of my experimentation, I came up with this little technique using a border because the border is clickable. So the border, it will be transparent, but just so you can see what's going on, we'll call it blue. Border width 35 pixels is the good number. So there you got it. So So as you can see, you come in here, you know, you got this padding right here because you're is considered on it, even though you're just on the border. This over here, this extra space is not necessary though, so we're gonna remove that by changing some of the widths here. We're gonna call the top is gonna be 0, the right is gonna be 0, bottom will be 35 pixels, as well as the left, which are these two sides over here. So we'll see. That's what we got. That's what we did. Canceled out the top and the right side. So we'll put this transparent here so we can, you know, get real, getting real. And there we have it. There we have it. And the reason this inset is important is because when you add the border, like we did, if you did not give the shadow an inset property, it will display on the outside of the border, which defeats the whole purpose, because then you back to the whole thing where you're right up next to it but you can't click it. So it needs to be inset in order for the border to work the way we want it to. And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll go ahead and throw another arrow in there. Just, you know, we got the previous and next action going on, so we'll throw that sucker in here, call it next, and it's going to need an extra class so that we can point it the other direction. And that extra class is next, and all you got to do is give it a different amount of degrees of rotation. Rotate, it's 225 degrees. And there we are, right on top of it, looking real bad. So, since this is the second A tag, for display purposes here, we'll get real wild and go nth child 2. And we'll say margin left, 300 pixels. And there you have it. Looking good. Little titles on there. Look at that. Got lavender, dark orchid. Alright, but yeah, I mean, the whole purpose of this, you know, it seems super simple, and that's literally the whole purpose. We're trying to use the least amount of code as possible just for these simple, pure CSS arrows so you can, you know, customize however you want super easily. Throw them anywhere you want, and yeah, we're good to go. So, thank you for watching, guys and gals, dudes and dudettes. I guess that is it. Here's my outro. Me stopping the recording, dude. Stop.